Hi, welcome everybody to Reality Speaks TV. Sparkle here alongside my co-host Kamal,
Greetings, everybody. Peace.
Greetings,
Happy
greetings.
holidays.
Likewise.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
along with Freddie Hamilton, Mahogany, and Miss Erudite. I want everybody to join us for this live urgent discussion as we delve into the tragic case of Robert Brooks, 43-year-old man who died following a violent encounter at the Marcy Correctional Facility. With the recent visit from Governor Kathy Hochul and growing calls for accountability, we'll explore the systematic issues of brutality and racism in the prison system. Featuring community leaders and concerned citizens, this vodcast aims to amplify voices, demand justice, and discuss actionable steps towards reform. Together,
Uh,
let's seek the truth and stand for change. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Yes, I want to also extend a great welcome to everybody, especially for the last minute invite. This was the last minute. A few people, we got a couple calls today. I got one, and Sparkle got one, both pertaining to this issue. And Sparkles was direct, like, we're gonna do a podcast about this, right? Without saying who did the call. But we knew then, like, we just had to do something. And as we just said, that we're actually late to the party. We should have been stepped to this business, right? And addressed it. So we tried to put together a panel at the last minute, not even a 24-hour notice. All of this was sent out this morning or this afternoon of people that, we went a couple formerly incarcerated people. I reached out to a couple people I knew, a couple of men. They're not here yet. We needed that balance. I guess I'm the only one that's representing the formerly incarcerated right now on this panel, but it's okay. But we just wanted to let you know that we tried to have a balanced panel. And so far, this is where we're at. So I don't know if we want to go around and introduce ourselves. I think everybody knows everybody, right? I'm not sure. But maybe we should do that first and foremost. You want to start, Sister Freddie? You're at the
okay,
top.
I'm not sure
So
I know everyone. I probably do.
hmm
Um, my name is Freddie Hamilton, and I'm on tonight as representing the Oneida County NAACP. I'm the president of the NAACP. And as Kamal said, we're late to doing this. This has been going on now for several days. And to me, it's telling that we have not been in the street yet, or we have not made a comment yet about this vicious attack on someone incarcerated, hand tied, hog tied, and beaten by a number of big husky correctional officers. And so something has to be done. And we're just right now moving towards being able to lend our voices to this.
okay. And who do we have next? Brother Gordon. How about Mahogany? Did you want to introduce yourself? Are you there? Yeah.
Yes, hello. My name is Mahogany, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel that, like the president of NAACP stated, this has been going on for years. But I feel that it's come to the spotlight. It's always been something that's going on. And when you see those men, I don't even know if I want to call them men. Mhm. When you see them, you know that this has been going on for multiple years just by the way they look. And Mhm. it's going to continue, unfortunately. It's going to continue. This is just the moment in time right now that we have right here. Is it really going to change? That's the question I really would like to know.
Mm-hmm.
Because this has been going, and it still goes on right now. That's
Not only
right.
in that facility, it goes on in every facility, from
Mm-hmm.
the psychiatric center
Mm-hmm.
to multiple facilities that is going higher. So this is something that's ongoing, and it's going to slow down right now because of the spotlight right now. But I pray that something does happen because this shouldn't never happen. And I'm just grateful that I had a cousin who did 30 years and he made it out safe.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Miss Eurydice, how about you?
I'm traveling now. That's why I
Okay.
told
We
people I
have
was coming. I'm gonna definitely get on. I have a whole lot to say. I should be
okay.
home
Okay.
in say 10, 15 minutes. But I'll come in last because I got so much to say. This this is
Okay.
unacceptable. Peace.
Okay. All right then. We'll wait for you to get settled. And we just had Anika Roach, attorney Anika Roach, join us. You were like the last person was just going around introducing ourselves. Do you want to say something real quick as an introduction? Introduce yourself.
Sure. I see some of the representatives on the panel. My name is Anika Campbell. I am an attorney, and I have been involved in some activism in political goals. Um, just like everyone else is saying, absolutely appalled the recent events, um, but not surprised. I'm just happy that the technology has caught up with the time we're actually getting to
Onika, I hate to interrupt you, but I'm having trouble hearing you clearly. I don't know about everybody else. Is
I
Yeah.
anybody
can't
else
hear her
having
either.
trouble hearing you?
Yeah, I can't hear
Okay, so I
Onika.
didn't want you to have to say something because I don't want you to think we hearing you. We can't hear you well. It
Oh,
sounds like a little echo too.
I'll try to move to another location.
Okay.
Okay, let me know when you come back. Just come back. All right, thank you. I just had to say something. I know she has something good to say, but prayerfully they'll get settled and join us. So I guess I'll set it off. You want me to start?
Yes.
It's, everybody knows I'm formerly incarcerated. Um, I did 2 years in Marcy. I was there 2009 to 2011, and it was nothing like this. It was nothing like this. I think the trouble began for Marcy when they closed Oneida Correctional Facility. The officers there were these type of officers, and I think they ended up migrating over there. They Oneida Correctional Facility had the sex offenders there, so they felt justified with this behavior towards them, and it was high profile cases. Plexico Burris, he was a New York Giant. He shot himself in the foot one night, and they gave him a couple years. He ended up doing this time over there. But they was really going after the pedophile. So when they closed the facility, I was in Marcy. I was in Marcy at the time doing time. And I remember hearing the officers say, we hope them guys don't come over here with that BS because they had to go right. The guys that was staying local, the only other choices was Marcy, Mid-State, and Mohawk. And obviously that has happened. You know, some of them had to leave. They didn't have enough time to go right here. They had to go downstairs, upstate. But by now they're back up homes with that, and the racism is so like, um, I was told the reason why the audio was off and we don't hear is because they don't want us to hear them with the racism, calling them niggas and all that. You know, I'm surprised they even showed the video, but they definitely don't want us to hear that, right? And some of these officers live right here, right around
Mhm.
us. We shot with some of them same officers in these Walmarts at New Hartford or whatever. So they just as worse as some of the prisoners in there, or even worse. You know, they're cowards because they got the man. They ain't give the man a fair chance. You know, it take 13 of you to kill a man that's shackled and handcuffed, right? That's coward, gang coward. The same thing they did from slavery time, right? They have a chance. Slaves have a chance. Outnumbered, no weapons to fight back with. Same cowards, man. I hate to say, I gotta call it just like it is. That's the most cowardly act to gang up on a man. You a man, you face him one on one if you got a beef, right? You put him in the room, you let him get a couple punches off or something. That's some real coward stuff, man. They deserve to really be hurt, as far as I'm concerned. But real quick, I just can't imagine. That has to be the most traumatic thing to go through right now. To be in that facility, they're under the spotlight, they locked down, they walking on eggshells everywhere they walking. The officers and the prisoners in there, they walking on eggshells right now. And the fear, once other facilities hear about it, it spreads fear, and it becomes trauma. It's a fear that you can't even imagine. You dreading going there. Nobody wants to get transferred to Marcy right now from anywhere. Nobody wants to go to Marcy. You can live right down the street from Marcy. Your family can come visit you every day. They don't want to be transferred to Marcy today. That's just one example.
Can you hear me now?
Um, I don't know. Any questions, or we can move around. I don't want to I don't want to be. I don't want to dominate. Who's this right here? LA. That's my brother right there. Welcome, Leon.
Hey, what's
Um,
up? How
yeah,
y'all
you
doing?
missed. Good. Thanks for coming. You missed the introductions for everybody, but you can introduce yourself real quick, and then you can catch up with what we're doing if you want.
All right, yeah, yeah. My name is Leon Adams, aka LA. Nice to meet y'all.
Mm-hmm. And where you at right now? You tell them where you're at.
I'm outside my job in Arlington, Virginia.
Right. Okay.
I lived in Utica for quite a while,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
I went through
That's
the
where we
trials.
met. We met in Utica.
Yes, we met in
Yeah.
Utica many
Right.
years ago,
Many years ago. Yeah.
and I went through the trials and tribulations of incarceration while up there and experienced a lot of low-handedness against inmates and prison guards. So I can relate to what's going on with the Robert Brooks situation. After I hung up from you, Kamal, I had to look it up.
Mm-hmm.
And I found a little article on what had happened and whatnot, and like that was totally unnecessary. And it's been an ongoing practice by the Department of Corrections employees, staff, you know, that they've been for a long time abusing inmates
Mm-hmm.
only because they can or only because of the color of their skin.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And that's been an ongoing thing, and to this day, I mean, I I was in the prison systems in the mid
To this day,
I would say the late 80s, early 90s, and I wind up doing a 15-year sentence from 95 to 2009, and been in various state prisons and have witnessed on hand a lot of the stuff that went on. I mean, a lot of black on black crimes, gang related crimes, abuse against inmate, but a lot against white officers, against black and minority inmates. And I've
right.
witnessed it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of times it's for a little bit of nothing. I mean, no matter what it was, I mean, the inmate didn't deserve such harsh treatment. You know what I'm saying? But that's just my view on that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that, and thank you for joining. How you doing, Anika? You want to jump in? You finally
I don't know. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you a little clear. If you could speak up a little bit, I think you'd be great.
So, hope you can hear me a little bit better.
Okay.
I was appalled when I heard about this. Just a little bit about myself, introductory. Please tell me if you stop hearing me. I don't keep talking. So my name is Onika Roach Campbell. I'm actually an attorney. I've lived in the Utica area since about 2000. And I'm also a community activist. I've been involved with the NAACP, Black Leadership Coalition, many other organizations in the community. But most importantly, this is home for me because, with transparency, a lot of the people on the line might know me, but they don't know for me that the father of my last child spent 22 years in corrections. So when I saw this, we know that this is happening in the system, and we understand that the system is supposed to be designed for rehabilitation. These men are supposed to come home more empowered, more able to handle their situations and things that are going on. But we find that a lot of our men are coming home angry, you know. So I'm happy that technology has caught up, but this isn't new. I'm not surprised by this. And for those that have been in the system and that understand what has been happening in there, it's very difficult to see these things, knowing that they have already been happening for years. But it kind of resonates with the work that needs to be done, because if the prison system is supposedly designed for rehabilitation, and we have white officers in there we already emasculate the black man in society, even when they're not in lockdown. So to be in lockdown and to be in a place where you can't help yourself, and to have white officers call you nigger, beat you half to death, place you in solitude, among the numerous things, I believe it's definitely injustice and it needs to be addressed. When someone in prison, that's their punishment for what they did. Not the job. These white officers now and to perpetrate their own anger, their own feelings of being less than a black man on the black man when he enters the system. So unfortunately, we have a lot of broken black men that come out in the world and come in the system, and regardless of how much you love them, it's very difficult to be a judge. Now, that's my take on the situation. Have a lot more to say, but I know there are a lot of people on this panel that have things that they want to contribute. So that's my contribution. Nobody has
Okay, we're gonna come back. You have another opportunity. Yeah, thank you for letting somebody else come in. Sounds like you was able to vent a little bit too and get some of that anger and frustration out of you. So we'll come back to you. So I don't know. Did you want to weigh in, Sister Freddie? Did you want to weigh in now?
I would like to,
Sure.
if you don't mind, I just want to say this. One, no matter what somebody has done to become incarcerated, no matter what crimes they committed, they deserve to be able to be incarcerated under the law and protected by the law while they're in there, right? And so there's no reason to say, no matter what Mr. Brooks, what crime he committed, he had a right not to be hogtied and beaten to death while he was in prison. Marcy Correctional Institution needs to be shut down. Kathy Hochul was there today. She's far too late in weighing in on this because she has the power to shut that down. She has the power to have these people prosecuted. She talks about firing them. Well, firing them is not enough because they
No,
killed somebody.
that's a fact.
And they had some number of people that already had lawsuits against them. And the system did not pay attention to that and continued to let these people roam around like a goon squad and beat up whoever they want to. And to me, it's unfair to any prisoner, no matter what their color, but we know that it's particularly focused at people of color and Black people in particular. And so I would like to see our community come together and demand that docs and the governor prosecute these people, that they are not protected by immunity, that they were not following the law, So they need to be treated as criminals themselves. And so wherever I can say this is where I'm going to say it. And I thank you all for having this podcast tonight. But this is just the beginning of us needing to speak out against this vicious attack on somebody.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think Harmony was saying that it's been going on, but now you didn't use these words, but they're finally exposed
Yes.
because that system have so many protections built in, so that you wouldn't. I'm surprised we seen a body cam. They have
Yes.
so many protections against any of that ever being taped,
And it's
right?
commendable. It's commendable that the Attorney General, Letitia James,
Mm-hmm.
found a way to release that body cam footage broadly, because generally we don't get to see it.
No,
We
not at
only get
all.
to see a little bit of it.
Not at all.
That's right.
If we don't see the body cam, we don't know. There's no way
That's right.
for us to know. You
How
know,
vicious it is. We
you
can
know,
hear people tell us about it, but to see
Mm-hmm.
it is
to
almost
see it.
unbearable to watch.
Mm-hmm. It
You
is.
cannot deny it either.
That's right.
Mm-mm. I think that they were so comfortable with the things that they have done in the past that they
Yes,
didn't even realize that it was on.
that's
Mhm.
right.
So,
That's
and they've
absolutely
gotten
right.
away with so much
Mm-hmm.
that they didn't even realize it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a
Mm-hmm.
flip side to this as well, though, because working in the system, the flip side to this is this now. I feel I was just talking about this with my coworkers. How about now, because this has surfaced, it's going to change for officers and prisoners and things of that nature. But sometimes it could change so much where we become so lax in the rules and regulations and nobody really want to do anything till it becomes overwhelming to the correction officers and people who work in the system, to the point where it's like, dang, they getting away with all of this so they could do whatever they want to do now.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, okay. So it's this is a really, this is really a tough situation here. This is tough as an understatement for what's going on. And I pray that the family will get what they deserve, even though it won't bring his life back. And I pray those prisoners reap what they sow as
Mm-hmm.
well. But for people that make sure, because when I was asked, hey, did you think such and such did that? I was like, nah, I know that person. They won't do that. They're not gonna say, they're gonna let you know, hey, nope, excuse me, I'm telling, what are you doing? And there was a guy that walked past that room. I think that that person needs to be brought into to be judged too. Because you walked past and you seen it and you didn't say anything. As an employee myself, that mind people that done things, but I don't judge them. What they did is what they did. If I see something going on, I walk past the room. What y'all doing? Oh no, y'all going? I'm telling. They know I'm telling.
Plus,
But then
there's
it becomes
cameras
the
all
system
over that
becomes
place.
lax. The
There's
system is going to
cameras
become so
outside the
lax.
building.
Hmm?
There's cameras outside the building. There's cameras in the infirmary. So if you look at this video and look how long it took, they were completely comfortable. They weren't
They,
scared. They weren't
That's right.
worried. They
they were the
weren't
good old
panicking
boys.
like
That's what they
we
call
got to
them, the good
hurry
old
up or nothing
boys.
like that. They knew they had all the time in the world. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason why is because there was other people that supported it that wasn't in that room, that
When you
infirmary.
Mm-hmm.
have your
From the
leaders,
guard tower to the people monitoring all the security cameras to
That's
the
right.
they was all down with that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no way you have that much time to hurt somebody and don't be concerned that a supervisor's gonna walk by, a
Mm-hmm.
sergeant, a lieutenant, or something. They
That's
all
right.
out the way somewhere. They know exactly what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
They know exactly what's going on. When they knew what was gonna happen before they even brought the guy over.
Mm-hmm.
Because
So
they
I
had him
heard
in
that the
handcuffs
guy.
and shackles carrying him through the yard on the camera. They knew.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not clear on whether or not the guards were from Marcy or Mohawk, because to my understanding, he was coming from another facility.
He was coming from Mohawk, going to Marcy, and those correction officers probably, I'm not sure, I'm not speaking verbatim, had the trip to go pick him up to transfer him because he was coming back from their facility. Because at times you do pick up people from other facilities. If you get being picked up, you could pick somebody up. Correct, a CO could pick you up from Mohawk to bring you back
Mm,
and things of that nature.
mhm,
But when you have your leader that do things like that, that's the thing.
mhm,
And um it's just tough. I think addressing this issue, the way that this issue could be addressed is, if you see something, say something. Don't only do that with mass transit down in New York City, do that with every job that you have. If you see something suspicious going on, say something. If you walking past somewhere, say something. Say something to the people that's doing it. Step up to the plate. Let them know, yo, what y'all doing? Y'all bugged out. Y'all crazy. What are y'all doing? Stop. Because now everybody's gonna go, you're going down. Even if you stop right there with audio and video, you're going down. I'm that person. Yo, y'all crazy. I think that's part of it. Let's stop don't turn your back. Don't try to turn a blind eye. How could any of them sleep at night? Or as a person, how could you? But you know what? The good old boys, they've been doing it for a long time. So I
Yeah,
think
I
that's
heard they
part of
have
addressing it in
squads
the
in
prison
there.
system, is
They have
holding somebody accountable for it.
So it's my understanding that the cameras were supposedly off, but they have a backup system that, because of the technology, they weren't aware that they were still off camera.
It's a timeout thing that they had it on, so you don't even know. You forget
on
sometimes.
standby, right?
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
I didn't
Mm-hmm.
even know correction when they started wearing body cameras. I didn't even know they was
Think
wearing
like
body cameras.
last year or something like that, or year before last.
That's
Mm-hmm.
something new because they weren't wearing
And
body
not
cameras
only
before.
that, the correction officers not only affect themselves, they also affect their families, because now your pension is done.
Right,
Your
right.
house is going to be
Yep,
done.
yep,
Everything is done for you.
yep.
Everything is done.
And they still
Now
not
you got
out
to
of the
face
woods with
prison
going to
time.
do time either. They
Oh
might go
no,
do
they're
some
gonna do
time
time.
too.
Not might. They're gonna have to do time.
They're definitely going to have to do time because what they did is not covered by immunity. They that was a criminal act, and like Miss Freddie just said, they murdered someone in cold blood.
So who's this? Keisha? That's Keisha. Sparkle.
Yes.
Do you want to come in, Spark? Keisha, did you want to introduce yourself or you just listening?
So,
Okay.
it's just I wanted to say something else about the fact that they're going to. So Governor Hochul came to the prison today and she visited the place, and she made an assessment. She stated that she's going to have so much $1 million into. They first of all, they have a new superintendent at the prison. It's a lady. I forgot her name right now. They have a new superintendent. A lot of millions of dollars are going to be rolled out because they're not going to tolerate it. They want the culture to change, as well as every officer now across all the prisons in New York State are going to be mandated to wear body cams. So you talked about body cams. Apparently, not all prisons in New York State have them, but moving forward after today, all prison guards are going to be wearing cameras. Do you all? I guess I'll ask um, LA or Sister Freddie or Brother Courtney. Do you think that this would be an effective measure to prevent it from happening again? Body cams.
I think the body cams are important, but I think that stopping this type of abuse is definitely on the governor and on the commissioner, and they know what needs to be done to stop it.
Hmm.
And so we need to hold them accountable. She will be soon running for re-election, and that needs to be one of the things that our community watch very closely about how Kathy Hochul is going to handle this.
Okay. Another question here. I'm just looking for the
Can I
question.
chime in real quick on the body cams?
Yes, please.
It will it will change some things in there, absolutely. Because even putting videos inside facilities change the whole behavior of people that serve the people that are in these facilities. Putting audio in, all of that really changes the culture of the facility. It's sometimes it's for the good, sometimes it's for the bad. Because sometimes you become paranoid when you're trying to say something to somebody and get those words across to them that they don't understand. And sometimes if an altercation happens, it could look like um as the facilitator that you are harming someone, but the camera and the angle of which it is, sometimes it look like you doing something harmful to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So everything has its pros and cons to it, but will it calm it down? Absolutely, it will. It'll calm a lot of that stuff down.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like I stated before, when any facilities and some of these prisoners know that yo, he got a body cam on, we got audio. Watch what I do today. I
Mm-hmm.
got
Mm,
something for them,
I
and they
understand
can't say
that.
anything.
Yeah, I understand that prisoners on Boy Scouts, they are there for a reason, and they're tough. And the uh, guards are there to maintain order and to make sure that they're following the rules of the prison. So absolutely, there's a balance. I understand that. And I know that the guards have taken a lot of times take a lot of abuse from the prisoners. I've heard of prisoners throwing feces at the guards or whatever they think will harm them the most or be the most disrespectful. And so it's a back and forth. I understand all of that, but there can't be a reason for a bunch of people to hog tie somebody, put the hands behind their back, and murder
Absolutely
them.
not.
That's
Absolutely
can't
not.
that cannot be that can't
Mm-mm,
be a
mm-mm,
legitimate reason for that to happen.
mm-mm, mm-mm. Never, 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 never.
So, a, a professor at Utica University called this incident a modern day lynching.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you all agree with that? Obviously, the man wasn't lynched, but he
Um,
did die of asphyxia.
Asphyxiation, yep. I believe.
Yes, meaning that he was, I guess, strangled,
Mm-hmm.
or he couldn't have his breath was lost from him.
Same as a
So,
lynching.
Yeah.
yeah.
And when
Anytime you
they,
cut off somebody's breath, whether by a
Mhm.
rope or your knee or your
yeah.
fist or whatever it is you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
you are lynching them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I'm just happy that these officers were finally found out about
Yes.
because it was going on for many years.
Mm-hmm.
If they've been part of the prison system, state system for 25 years, could you imagine how many lives they have
Mm-hmm.
tormented?
Mm-hmm.
I wish I wouldn't even watch the video.
Mm-hmm.
And
It
not
was hard to
only
watch.
in the physical, remember they know how to get these guys too with the pen and kill them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just whoa, like man. And I think it also is a respect thing. Certain people that work in the prison system right now, if something was to go on, some prisoners will walk past some of these seals without even harming them
Mm-hmm.
because it's a mutual respect that you have. And that's how anybody, anytime you work in the prison system,
Mm-hmm.
if you respect them, they respect you. Yeah, you gotta, put your big girl drawers on and let them know you're not playing and stuff like that. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't ever claim that I could beat anybody up, and I don't do that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But if you respect them, they gonna respect you. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
things happen, but they'll respect you.
Mm-hmm.
They will. You know, we are the only people that these guys see that's outside the real world. So imagine having doing 30 years or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the only person from the outside that you see. And I'm talking to you about Instagram or Facebook or that type of stuff. And when you have that type of respect and I'm talking to you, they know it's a privilege to speak to me. And that's how I keep it. It's a privilege.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't talk to me or you disrespect me, I'm not gonna speak to you for a few weeks. I'm not going to torment you like that. But I won't speak to you for a while if you disrespect me.
Mm-hmm.
There's other way about doing things versus what they did. The good old boys did. That's what they are. The good old boys, the beat up crew.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
What
I'm gonna leave it right there because I'm really touched by this.
I want to know is what we're gonna do as a community. Because a lot of times, and everybody gets all up in arms, and then after a week or two, it goes nowhere. So to piggyback on what Miss Freddie said, Miss Freddie's out there, and everywhere she can say it, she's going to say it. Like, what are we going to do? We know what the problem is. We know what has been happening for years. Now what? Are we going to talk about it and then just not vote, or not exercise the power that we have? And that's the problem, and that I feel that's why it's constantly perpetrated over and over and over in our history, because we talk a lot, but then at the end of the day, we have amnesia, and we don't want to vote, we don't want to do certain things that where we hold that power.
Onika, I'm hoping that we're not going to let this go. And it's going to take all of us to be determined that we want to see a certain amount of action. We want to see results. And I'm hoping that we're not going to let it go because I don't intend to.
This system is kind of tough. Takes it's going to take some numbers and persistency, but it really takes politics to correct what they do.
Mm-hmm. It does.
Um, I've seen families try to fight them for a long time. I've seen guys win lawsuits over certain things,
Mm-hmm.
but that's where it stands. They get a little $10,000 and you don't hear from them no more. Like it becomes
Mm-hmm.
an isolated incident.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it takes we have to go to the politicians. We need some citizen action, and go to the politicians and say you have to do some reforms with the law, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and it may have to start with whether or not these correction officers get convicted or not of anything.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
We may have to start with that. Let's start with that because if you don't convict these officers of anything, you keep the door open for more corrections officers to do the same thing. But let
That's
a
right.
few of them go to jail and lose their houses and their family. I
Right.
guarantee you some of them will stop doing what they're doing. So it's all up to them. And
Yes.
what we need to go to the politicians about. But if they do get convicted, then there's some reform that has to take place in the prison system. You know, whether it's more training, more vetting who you hiring, maybe shit, some of them need background checks or
They all need
psychological
background
evaluation
checks. They
You,
all
they
need
and
background
psychological
checks.
there are background checks done when you work for
evaluations.
them. They do an
Mm-hmm.
intense
Yeah.
psychological exam, intense psychological exam.
But what they
There's
do is, if they get into trouble at one facility, they'll transfer them rather than firing them and putting them. They shouldn't be in the system. Once
one
they do
second.
some of that stuff, they shouldn't be allowed to transfer all around the state or all around the country without their records following them. That's a part of it.
The thing is too, it's the problem is so much deeper than this. It's systemic. I
Yes.
about a young man named he was incarcerated at Marcy back in 2016 and just plain disappeared. They still don't know where he is. Like, how do you disappear in the system? So,
Mm-hmm.
serial killers inside, of the corrections system, disguised as correction officers, you know? So
Yes.
it's deeper. And I understand, the privacy and and people feel like, well, the respect the officers as much if there's a camera on. They're not angels. But it's the same thing in okay, I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. Back there, it's illegal to send officer or to leave back. Here, we use those things. We recognize that my wording, my language, my behavior as a human being does not mean that I get subjected to abuse by the system. I think that's where we fail. In the fact that they have so much power and think it's behind closed doors, especially now we have the body cams. I definitely agree that it should be not just body cams, but cameras throughout that place. You know?
Right. Exactly. So that takes me right. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
So that takes me to this question. How does this case highlight systematic issues like racism and brutality, period, in the system?
I
Sparkle, this is Miss Paradise. Let me explain something to you. This is nothing but systemic racism. If anybody understands our Constitution, and when you go back to the organic Constitution, we would not be going through this. Then you have to speak. Then it's not just the civil rights, because if you go into the civil rights, we are not a protected class of the civil rights. Before we were getting our 40 acres, remember that? We
Hmm.
stopped getting the 40 acres because um, they changed it a year later. So let's go back to the 1865 when the 40 acres were given. Then in 1866, because of the destroy evil, changed it. That's why when they said Thomas Jefferson was for free, yes, because those 40 acres were given back then. So now when they repeal it, that does not protect us anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
only thing that's going on right now up there in that entire hub of Oneida County is nothing but the KKK just out of the sheet and putting on to their uniforms and blue clothing. So this is not going to stop. So even if we march, we could do whatever we want. It's not going to stop. I understand that they talking about they're going to reform, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. My brother's in there. My brother told me this happened a little before it got bigger into the news. He said, yo, they just killed my man. And I'm like, what? And nobody said anything. Then about a week later, then they said something. Yes, we have an attorney general, Letitia James, who's a sister. Let's see what she can do. There's not that much she can do because, to be honest, look at the color of her skin. Okay? They never gonna allow her to do too much. So when they say they want, then you have Kathy Hochul. They telling her to resign for what happened. She's a destroy evil, but and she came out. She said they were suspended. I thought they was fired. They should have been terminated. You suspended without pay because y'all have to continue an investigation. What investigation do y'all need? Letitia James already showed what? The body camera. She got the footage. So she did her part, but it's bigger than that. Because then you still got to deal with the commissioner of corrections. And if they all look like those destroy evils, we already know what the lessons say. So come on, we all back into the slavery. Now, if you going back into the wisdom, build, destroy, degree, and you start talking about the cremators and all of that, that's all there too. And I will one of 40. This is not acceptable. But when you have knowledge yourself, you would know what is expected to go on in there. I I already know people who did 35 years and came home and fought with the cops. I know exactly. So come on, this is ridiculous what's going on. And that's why I'm happy I have knowledge of self because I had people that's in that interior cipher. And I'm speaking, and I'm also on the Office of Cultural Management, Sparkle. And this is not acceptable. We don't allow this at all. And I'm with our law 5%, and I'm on the Office of Cultural Management and everything as a financial strategist. But I would never accept nothing like this. It's not that this is my bloodline, but that's still a brother that happened to. So how many more brothers is going to happen to? They've been doing this for years because I know people that did 27 years. I know people that did 28, 35, and so on. I got brothers that did already 22 years already. So come on. This is just ridiculous what these, I'm not even calling them anything but ignominious species because they are not respect as no man because they are not. I don't care if they have families or not. They are ignominious species. They are the scum of the earth and they are the skunk. It's in the lesson. And it tells you who the colored man is, and that's who they are from y'all. They grasped it from Yaakov, and they are going to be that way because that's what they do. They feel that they could continue to destroy us, kill us, and get away with it. So what do you expect? And then what they do is go make a makeshift grave. That's why some of those people they say is missing. You don't get missing out of the Department of Corrections. Those mother, those destroy evils make a makeshift grave somewhere, and then they find bodies coming up on the grave. That's what I was told by a few people that did time in prison that I spend more than Wisdom Cipher, which is 20 years in the interior cipher. This is ridiculous. You got to get them in their pockets. And getting in their pockets is not just doing lawsuit. You got to get them in you got to get the whole New York State Department of Corrections in the pocket and let them know, look, okay, she's going to go spend millions of dollars to do what? What is she doing there? You're going to go put millions of dollars to do what at that jail? Are you getting them in some training? What are you doing there? What's going on in Marcy? What training do they have in Marcy? And Marcy is a medium. And for that to happen for somebody that is shackled and handcuffed, how can that come on? That person is a defense. He can't defend himself. So he cannot be opposing a threat. Obviously, he wasn't opposing the threat. Like I said, this is ridiculous. It's just crazy. We see what Letitia James and Kathy Hochul, the senators and everybody, they going up to the jail. But what's going to come out of it? Are these destroy evil, like I would call them devils, going to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law? That's the question. The way they killed that man, Robert Brooks is his name. These destroy evils need to go to jail and be prosecuted to the, like I said, prosecuted. We looking for prosecution. We looking for conviction of murder. We are not accepting anything less than murder. The NAACP and everybody needs to get behind it. If she's in one of them, Freddie is on this court now from the Oneida County. Everybody should be up at that jail. No justice, no peace, and they want this for Robert Brooks and everybody else who probably lost their life in the Department of Correction by not just inmates, but come on, they being killed by employees. This is crazy.
So it's definitely safe to say that this is provoking emotion in our, like you mentioned, you have friends and family members that are incarcerated. Myself, friends and family members that are incarcerated. So it's no secret that it's actually provoking emotions and pretty much re-traumatizing the people who have been affected by police brutality on any level. And I guess I want to know, like, how can we advocate for the families affected by this? Also, my nephew who's inside said that he's really upset about what happened. He's disturbed by it. He actually told me that I was actually told by a family that when they showed that they released the footage of the incident, they had all of the other inmates in their cells. So pretty much they were on lockdown because of the video being shown. So I guess I'll ask LA because I haven't really heard from you. What do you suggest the families, for the families affected, people who are affected indirectly, or maybe even the other prisoners who happen to witness or have witnessed police brutality? What advice can we offer these families? Oh, I think you have to unmute yourself. Let me help you out here. There you go. All right, LA. There you go.
You got me?
Yes, you're on.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say because, first of all, the prison officials, they run everything. Like a lot of things is going to be given to us as they see fit. So we never going to know the truth behind nothing because they're never going to give us the truth. So we have to look towards our legislators. We got to look towards our communities to pretty much be the front line of making change and to getting the people who who killed this young man brought to justice. And that's where it starts. It starts with the community. It starts with the legislation, our government. And ain't too much we can do in terms of justice, but all we can do is continue to fight for it and let our voices be heard. Because physically, there's nothing we can do. I mean, we just have to stay on the front line, keep shouting until somebody hears.
Thank
If
you.
if that makes sense.
Yes, it does actually. I'm gonna go to Freddie Hamilton next. You heard a variety of things that just came to the surface. I want to know, what are your thoughts of now? This gentleman, LA, just mentioned legislation, and we spoke about that as well. So I just want to know, what are you thinking right now, Sister Freddie?
Well, certainly there needs to be legislation or um, reformed legislation. Maybe there's some legislation already on the books that need to be reformed that can be more precise about what can and can't happen. But certainly that we need to do, and that means that our legislators have to get involved. It's up to us. It's really up to us how much progress we can make with this. We're not going to get everything we want, and we understand that there's systemic racism. But we have to figure out where the pressure points are. We have to figure out who the people are that can make the changes that need to be changed. And they need to see us as people who are willing to stand our ground until those changes get made. And nothing changes other than doing that. Any progress we've ever made, no matter how little or how much, has always come about when we insist that change, that things look different. And yeah, we know we have racism. We know that even though many of us, and I did, live through Jim Crow, and technically we are still living in Jim Crow, but it looks different. It looks different because we put some pressure on to make it look a little different. And so for each of us, as long as we are alive, if we're willing to roll up our sleeves and try to pull ourselves together and unify and insist that things change, we will make a little progress, even if it's not a lot. So that's what I'm hoping will happen. I'm hoping that we don't go back. As people of color, we fight on so many different fronts. It's very easy for us to lose track. We can't keep our eye on that ball long enough. And a lot of people know that and take that for granted. But we have to keep our eyes on what we're trying to get done and understand that we can only do it when we're as united as we can get.
Thank you, Sister Freddie. Kamal, are you there? Yeah, would you like to add to our discussion thus far? Are you on mute?
I think he's on mute.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Mhm.
What was you saying? Hmm.
Yeah, I was wondering if you had anything else that you would like to add.
I just think the system is big. It's going to take. I want to emphasize that they have a certain autonomy that's crazy. Um, they don't have no overseers, nobody watching them. You know, I just see that Governor Hochul just hired the Correctional Association to keep watch over the outside agency. But they've been doing that for years anyway. And what has been the impact? They when people come to them prisons, they get the yes sir prisoners, they put them up front. Everybody else is scared to say anything against them, and they watch you when they come in. They make sure everything is clean, spick and span, and they give this impression like, oh, this is not bad at all. Look how clean it is. Look how it's quiet, isn't it? They come in for 20, 30 minutes an hour and they think that's what the life is like in prison because we trick them. We put on a play. We pretend, right? And even the legal system, the appellate division can't even reverse the parole system. They can keep you in there for 10 or 20 extra years just hitting you at the parole board and be dead wrong. And the appellate division, all they do is say, and they reverse it and send it back and say, no, you was wrong. Take another look at it. But you would think after 2 or 3 times of this coming to you, would say, you know what, you didn't release him, we're going to release him because you shouldn't have held him no more. No, they have complete autonomy. There has to be some major changes made. And most importantly, we need support from incarcerated families and the community members. We need numbers. We need numbers. Like Sister Fetty was saying, we need the pressure points, find out where they at, and it's going to take numbers, the little numbers to come at them. All the constituents that you voted for, hold them accountable. Make them ask them some questions. You know, like Marianne Buttonshaw, what's she talking about? Like, what do you? I understand that they're concerned. There's positions because some of these politicians live around some of these correction officers. They grew up together, so they have a conflict of interest. You
Mhm.
follow what I'm saying? They can't really step to the plate like they would if they were strangers, if they weren't their neighbors and they didn't know them for 30, 40 years, been
So
to their
that's why I
funerals
will
and
have
their
a comment
weddings
on
and
that.
all that.
That's
Say
right.
that again.
That's why I want to comment on that. Like my thing is, how do you guys feel about the state doing the state investigation? How's state going to do the state investigation? They all work together. Why can't Fez be in this?
That's
Hmm.
a good question.
Maybe they will be.
And I'm hoping they will be because state can't investigate state.
Mm-hmm.
You got to make it make sense. It's just that's just how I feel. I think somebody higher than state should come in to do this investigation
Hmm.
because, like you guys keep saying, it keep going on, it keep going on. Whether it's our area, it could be any area. It is getting out of control, and I think people use their badge or the drop a job description to extreme. They don't know how to play their position, and then I just don't understand. And I think a lot of it has to do with religions too. Like they should do more backup. If you prejudice, you should not have that type of job. I know
So,
that's a different level. I know
mm.
that's a different level, but it's the truth. Like I don't understand it.
But the state, it starts with the state. But
I know that.
when you
I
look
know
at
that.
New York,
Yeah.
New York City, the feds are the people that are forcing the shutdown of Rikers Island, and
Right.
they've been messing around with that for a really long time. But they seem pretty determined
Hmm.
that they're going to shut down Rikers Island at some point.
I
And
read an
so,
article today too that The lady that you said, what is her name? I'm sorry, I'm not really good with the name.
Are you talking about Governor Hochul?
Yes. So I just read an article that she said that they're thinking about shutting Mercy down. What do that mean though? Where's like shutting the facility down has nothing to do with your employees.
Right.
You get
That's
what I'm
right.
saying?
That's right.
Like fix the problem. Shutting it
So are you
down means what?
saying, are you saying where will those people go? Where will the employees
I
go?
No, them employees should be. That's another thing I don't understand either. Why something has to be investigated when it's plain in sight what happened? Why are they not charged or on bail like normal people? So what?
Exactly.
Like I don't understand that. Like so what? That was their job. They did an act. They
Well, you
did
know
it.
what?
And then I
That's
don't
how,
believe, and I do believe that their audio was on. It's
yeah,
just that they did not put the audio to public because that was too more um intense of what they were doing. Probably was calling them nigger. They
yeah,
didn't want to get us. They didn't want us to hear all that.
right.
I think they just did not. Um, I just think that they did not let us hear the audio. I think they just added it and showed the video, but there's audio to it.
So as
So
far
I
one,
think there's audio to it as well. And I think the audio, maybe if this goes to like a trial or something with the
Oh
destroy
yeah, they're
evil,
gonna hear it. They're gonna hear it. But
we
I'm just
should
saying to
be
the
able to
public,
hear
I
it.
just think that the
To
public
the,
was
to
not able.
the I think because to the public, they trying to still cover up shit.
Right.
Yes, you have our attorney general, but she doesn't look like them. And then she wants her job, so they have to play along and do certain things by their books. You
Yeah, but
understand?
my thing is just like this the other person that was on there, I don't know her name. She made a good valid point. Okay, even if that's her job description, I don't care what color she is, I don't care. It does not matter. You took that job. You took the job, so you need to follow suit. Okay, that's just how it goes. It's not about trying to keep your job or keep a title. It doesn't matter. You took that job, and then you get all these inmates having family members or inmates itself right in Albany, right in Albany, right in Albany, right in Albany, calling Albany, doing this, doing that, doing this, doing that. And they got so many calls that you had to wait for this to happen to do something to now right to do something about it.
so
Well, supposedly, hopefully do something about it. Let's put that in the air. But I'm just saying, it's just a lot of stuff that I don't agree with what like a lot of people don't, but I just don't understand like how they're not arrested. I don't care. I don't understand how they was not arrested. I don't understand how they was not able to post bail. I don't understand why they're just suspended there's no investigation. It's
There's
closed.
an invest. This is what they are claiming that they have to do their thorough investigation. Then hopefully those destroy evils will have charges brought against them. Because right now they even on that body camera, they still innocent until being proven
Yeah.
guilty
Yeah, I
by
understand that.
12 jurors.
Yeah.
So it's the same way. This is the way the system works. So hopefully we could get an indictment. So if they get those destroy evils, all 13 of them get indicted, now we got something to work with.
No, there's
And,
14 of them.
and the one of them is something that was a nurse or something, but
It was two nurses on that camera
right, the
laughing. They
nurse,
were laughing. And they took
well,
an oath. They took an oath and they didn't have to
exactly.
show
Well,
that.
they took a Hippocratic oath, and a
Yep.
Hippocratic oath they supposed to be saving a life. So I
Yep.
totally agree.
Yep.
I wanted
So
But
to
they
ask,
said 13 and 7.
I was just asking sister how you felt about that as far as why federal can't come in because I think that's who should take over the case, not state.
yeah, they might come in.
Yes.
I agree, but I don't think the
Kamal,
federal
you're
is
on
going
mute,
to.
Kamal.
I was saying that the FBI is investigating whether they want to move forward with it or not.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what time we're gonna end, but I just want to add this one thought. You know how when all of our black brothers was and some sisters were being murdered by police. You know, we had that rash for a few years, and we
Mm-hmm.
was teaching young black men how to respond if the police pulled you over, right? Just to protect themselves. A lot of the violence the police were doing was as a result of traffic stops. We was teaching young black men, the police pull you over, you don't argue with them, you make sure you're polite, pull out your license, don't make no quick moves or whatever. Well, the same thing is true inside, right? What happens is a lot of us know we're tougher than the officers. We're working out in the yard. They coming in with guts and stuff. We're tougher than them. We can beat them in a one-on-one. So a lot of guys that's incarcerated talk to them dirty, right? Talk to them any old kind of way. So even if an officer comes at you sideways, you can't win an argument with them, and it's useless because our argument doesn't get documented, right? So the best weapon that we have is to document it and write certain agencies. So you write the Commission of Correction, you write the Correctional Association, you do an outside, and you throw maybe a congressman or something in there, and you throw a few letters around, you keep a copy. And then after you send it out, then you send one to the superintendent of facility. They don't like that because they're trained in the academy on how to combat a violent prisoner, not an intelligent prisoner. They're not trained on how to do that and how to respond to somebody writing them up and talking about they need psychological evaluation because that goes in their folder. They hate it because it affects their pay. So we have to know the best way to fight them is with the pen, not with the argument. You're going to lose that. You're going to lose the argument. You don't accomplish nothing, and you gain the enemy in the officer. At least if he's going to be an enemy, have something in writing in case they retaliate. There's something documented.
Mm-hmm.
That's what protects you.
That's all good advice, Kamal.
Thank you, thank you. And that's how I live from
But
here.
that's probably in the job description. It's just not being done.
Mhm.
You know?
He's not talking about a job description. He is saying that for our people who are incarcerated,
Oh yes, yes.
if
Okay.
we understand,
Yeah.
I know at one point back in the 90s, 80s or 90s, there was something called a little black book that
Mhm.
was written where we would give it to our youngsters, we would give it to our young black boys
Mhm.
to say what to do if you were stopped by the police. You
Mm.
can, if you feel like you are being disrespected and abused, you can fight that battle later. But don't
Mhm.
confront them right then because whatever they do you, they will just have done it. You're not going to, we're not, it won't, we can't, we can't
Right.
reverse it. Right.
Okay. Yeah.
So Kamal is just saying to keep the balance. Our people who are incarcerated need to understand that they can't make that fight right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because they're gonna look
Okay.
at you and like you argue with me, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the officer
Mm-hmm.
look at it. They ain't even gonna say, "Ooh, that's how you
Yeah.
talking. I mean, gotcha.
Yeah.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, and you can't win because you locked up. There's a lot of ways they can maneuver, and it don't necessarily even
Yeah.
have to be them putting their hands on you. Could be calling you late for your visit, or this is
Right.
all
That's
kind of
right.
little dumb stuff that they do,
Right.
just to make your
That's
life
right. Yep.
harass you when they come to the cube or make you clean. Just all kind of those dumb. It depends on where you're at too.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any
And
questions that you have
attorney,
for me at LA, the formerly incarcerated? I don't know. Are we missing something? I'm trying to provide information I think that's relevant, but if you have a direct question, feel free while you have me or LA, if you can think of. No, all right.
and I know the attorney, Onika Roach Campbell, had something that she wanted to add about how far the process. Onika, are you still there with us?
I'm still here, but I'm having difficulty. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
But she's
Okay.
written some things in the chat that's very useful.
Yes, can you
Um,
please read that? I don't know. There it is.
She says, let me see. It says they are unionized and have a contract. Investigation has to be done before arrested. And
mm,
that's true because their
mm-hmm,
unions protect them and they
mm-hmm.
have a
Mm-hmm.
space of time when they don't have to speak at all until they have talked with their attorney, right?
Right.
Right.
And then she says, second, they can't release the audio because at some point they will need to pull a jury of their peers, and the peers will have to say they hadn't seen the audio or they hadn't seen much of it or whatever the story is.
Oh, it makes sense then. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
yeah. She said the audio will pollute the jury pool and
Mm,
then they won't be able to try them by jury trial.
okay.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So she said
To have a lawyer amongst us.
that's why they are suspended without pay while they go
Okay.
through that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Thank you so much,
Mhm.
Anika.
They may get off. You talking about Oneida County. We know what they look like and most of them and what the jury's most likely going to look like. So they may get off. They may not even be brought to justice. You ask me.
That's true.
This is a business.
Okay. LA, were you
They
had
will
your hand
either
up?
they would get the lesser charge where
Yeah,
they don't do no time.
yeah. I just want to elaborate on what the young lady said about investigations, and based on the penal law in New York State, that the whole judicial system starts with investigation because they would have to piece together, being that there was multiple um, guards involved, they have to piece together what exactly each role each guard played in order to
Oh,
know how to charge them.
okay.
Because everybody may not get the murder charge; they may get attempted murder or manslaughter or assault
Okay.
based on their actions during that incident. And then once they gather enough information to charge them, then they would have to put out arrest warrants for them, whoever's going to
Mm-hmm.
get charged, and they have to present them to at an arraignment before a magistrate
Mm-hmm.
to be formally
Oh, I just
told.
thought that once you become an accomplice that caused death, everybody get charged. I don't know.
No, not everybody,
No.
because I
Yeah.
mean, if one person's um is punching the guy and the guy
Mm-hmm.
alive, that might just be aggravated assault. And
Mm-hmm.
then the next guy actually say choke him out and kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first guy ain't gonna get the murder charge or
Oh,
the
okay.
manslaughter charge. Like it's
Oh,
gonna be various charges based on the acts each individual did. And then once they gather facts, it's gonna have to be an arrest warrant to bring them to a magistrate for arraignment to inform them of the charges against them. And then from that point, it's going to move into a felony hearing to determine if they have enough evidence to proceed to the grand jury. And then once the grand jury indict, that's going to determine whether or not they have enough evidence to proceed to trial. So it's a process that they're going to go through. And the
okay.
first step is being investigation.
Okay.
So, wow, there's something that you said that is not complete. They have a felony. They have the felony murder conviction in New York statute. So they have depraved indifference. They have the intentional murder, and then they have the felony murder. The felony murder comes into play. Say four guys go into a house to do a home invasion. They under the impression they just gonna go in there and rob everybody, right? And leave. One guy sees a female in the house, takes the female upstairs, rapes her and kills her. This is where the felony murder come in. They could charge everybody in there with murder, Leon, under the felony murder. Okay? Or they could just charge the person that did it, and they'll charge him with either what they call that type of homicide is a depraved indifference to human life. They're not going to say it's intentional. They say it wasn't intentional, but they kept beating him. It was so reckless, it was so depraved, and so indifferent that they caused the taking of the human life. But what they do with us, I have a lot of people. I had a lot of people that was inside that was convicted of felony murder because they was with a group of people. Like one guy, he was a college student, a basketball star, Alfred State University. His cousins called him, said they had a little problem with these guys. Could you come out? They go over there. Somebody ended up dead. He walked away with a felony murder conviction because somebody else killed him. And he was with the group that did it, that went over there to do it. So that felony murder conviction could get everybody that murder in New
That's
York.
what I thought, but
Yeah, right.
I thought that's what
Huh?
I thought.
Yeah,
Have you
you
guys
can. You can get it. You can get it that way. If somebody dies, that's the only
Because you know
reason
when
the
you
way you
because
can
when
get
you saw the
it.
video, not no one backed off. It's not like no one
But they're
backed
not
off.
going to do that to them. They're not going to give them that
Of course
severe
not. Of
charge.
course not.
They're going to try to give them reckless homicide or some type of lower manslaughter, reckless manslaughter, where it only get 5 years for that. The murder convictions carry 10, 15, 20. The manslaughters is like 5 years, 7 years. They're not going to get no major time. I would be surprised. I would be surprised. It's just not fair. That's
They
why.
need to get major time because they all participated. They even had one. When I watched that video, I was applauded. I seen that man took his foot and I don't know where he was putting it in that boy body,
Kick
but
him in
his
the
foot was
groin.
that,
You kick him in his
yeah,
nuts.
with his
He kick-
boots on and everything. I said, what the, and this man is
Yeah,
handcuffed.
yeah,
He
it
looked
was.
like he's already lifeless. So what are y'all doing?
yeah.
He had his foot between his crotch.
Yeah, something. I said, did they put it on his neck? Where they putting it? Because then the other one is holding him and choking him. I'm like, oh no.
Well, supposedly what killed him was strangulation.
Yeah.
Right.
Pressure to the neck.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't show that on the tape though, did
No,
they?
they didn't
The
show that, but I read it.
strangulation part.
But they
Yep.
showed the
I know,
man,
no, I'm just
but
saying they cut
even
that out.
on the tape, they do show somebody keep poking, holding his neck and pulling him. If I have the longer video, it's like probably 17 minutes, and that video shows a whole lot.
I thought
That's
I
the
saw
video.
I thought I saw 2 or 3 videos from different angles.
Me too. Me too.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I did
Mhm.
too.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the video and it was about 17 minutes and it shows he was being picked up by his neck, like lift up by his neck. I saw when they was putting him onto that bed because it was supposed to be for the hospital or whatever. I seen that. I seen he getting punched numerous times. And I saw when a Destroy Evil took his leg and put it somewhere on the male's body. I don't know if it was his groin, was it his neck, was it his chest? And I said, that's even worse because that was a big Destroy Evil,
Somebody
big no
even took,
maniac.
and one of the officers even took their boot off and was hitting him with it.
Right, I saw that too. I saw one of the boot off as well.
So the attorney, Onika Roach Campbell, says she can hear, but she's not being heard very well. She reads, some are going to get first degree murder, others second degree, and others accomplice before and after the fact.
Yep.
Others didn't do anything. The others who didn't do anything will still get felony charges for the very fact that
Felony
someone
murder.
died while in the act
Right.
of a
That's
felony, which was the assault of the person. What
exactly.
Kamal just said, a
Yep.
murder that occurred during the commission of a
That's what
felony,
I said.
whether
It's
intentional
accomplice.
or not.
It's accomplice.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then we
Well,
have
makes sense.
comments from Facebook. Hazel so Butter says he also peed on himself,
Yep, he did. I
and
saw
they
that.
tied his feet up. And Hazel also says they tied his feet up also. And then Renee Mama says yes, they grabbed by his neck.
Yeah, that's what killed him.
So that came from YouTube and Facebook. Thank you, Hazel So Butter and Renee, for listening on also YouTube and Facebook platforms.
Mhm.
Um, so I guess we've been here for
And
an
then
hour
you
and
know,
20 minutes.
and I know that a lot of people probably don't care because they white. I'm diversity, so I'm not. I have no hate in my bones. Um, but I feel sorry for their families, their kids, their wives. Like just like that one particular girl said earlier, like you destroyed a lot of lives.
Right.
There's a lot of like a lot. You never know. There's gonna be a lot of divorce. Like you didn't even think
Hmm.
about that. You didn't think about your
Right.
family. You didn't think
Hmm.
about nothing. All you thought about was hate, hate. And it's it's just sad though. It's just really sad. It really is sad because everybody's going through it. His family, the society. Um, I'm sure their families. I mean, but it's just that a lot of stuff played a lot in this as far as a lot of stuff has been destroyed and
Mhm.
ruined. And
Mhm.
and like, you guys said, we're just gonna have to see how this turns out.
Mhm. Yeah.
So and I mean there's not that much money in the world that you can't bring the person back. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So
Mhm. Yeah.
and this is why the
Let me
state have to do something, is because if the state wanna go broke off of lawsuits, you need to fix the problem.
Mhm.
Exactly.
I just want we're getting ready to end in a few minutes, but let me just say something real quick. We need we need the families of every incarcerated person involved with the struggle and the support of their loved ones, right?
Right.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
Usually in these fights like this, even when I was inside, most of the people didn't even have a. Most of the people that go down there and protest and sacrifice their time for these fights and going after the politicians don't even have a loved one inside.
Mhm.
They never
Hmm.
had an
Well,
incarcerated
I
person
mean,
inside.
that's another thing. Think about OCJ. This is a county. How are these people without with no heat?
Hmm.
That I will never understand either, though. It's just a lot of things that goes on in them facilities. Is
Mm,
unbelievable.
mm, yeah, and a lot of them we don't even know about them because they
Exactly.
keep everything compartmentalized,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
They keep it
Well, they
separate
want some
from it. They
Kevin.
make sure the news don't spread. And it's hard to get information from one facility to the other. However, now with the emails, with the
Yeah.
tablet, it's kind of hard for them to stop the information from passing around. But
Yeah.
before, it was kind of hard to get information in and out. You had to wait for a letter. It was interesting. But the emails help a little bit, but they still try to um, keep it separate. But the other jails probably know because we have the tablets with the emails now. So all it takes is a little email and say, yeah, they murdered somebody in Marcy, and then it starts spreading around up in Attica and Clinton and
Hmm.
downstate where we normally wouldn't hear that. Until somebody come on the transfer from the facility and then they bring the news. Yeah, they killed somebody over there last year. Now it done died down. A year later by the time you get there and spread the news. It's a little different now.
Nah, the jail finds out everything.
Mm.
They just seem to do.
Well, I just want to thank everybody that came for the last minute invitation. Myself personally, I'm gonna let you finish. Okay, they also took off his coat because he was bloody. It was evidence on the coat. Hope they did not rid of that. You have a lot of information. Okay, Hazel, you have a lot.
I want to thank you all again for doing this. Um, I think it was really good conversation,
Yes.
and hopefully, it's just the beginning of some real action.
And thank you all for joining and chiming in.
Mm.
So we came in live and direct, this urgent conversation, and we're hoping for more change. You'll hear back from us more. This is Reality Speaks TV with real people, real talk, and real time.
Real
Thank you all
time.
for listening. Please share your comments and your concerns, and we will get to you as soon as possible.
And
Good
this is
night.
available on YouTube. So if anybody wants to catch this, that want to kept the episode, catch you to know they can see it on YouTube and Facebook under the Reality Speaks TV, this episode. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
all right.
All
Good
right.
night, everyone.
Peace.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Good
Hey,
night.